But seriously, brethren, seriously, everyone that is listening to this, whether you stumble on this video, share it to people you think needs this. People that are pregnant, people that are just married, just your friends and family, share this video. Let them watch this. Let them listen to this story. Let them see what God can do. I'm just here testifying on what God has done for me. It is not a story I heard outside. This is actually what happened to me, and this is what works for me. Trusting in God. So, for my third pregnancy, in my last video, I already shared that I was afraid. There was doubt. There was fear. I wasn't just okay, you know. And this time, my trust in God was still there, but the fear was very, very high. I was very afraid. And I had emotional support from my husband, from my mom. But when the news of my pregnancy got out, like to family, to friends, they were just like, it's not Abigail. She was, as she has done it before, she will do it again. Hebrew woman. You know, it was almost like, just do and give us the baby. Just get there and then give us the baby. And for me, I was like, God, these people, they're just treating me like this. God, I hope, you know, I was like, I hope. But doubt was in my mind. Fear. People of God, do not allow fear and doubt break the trust you have for God. Even in that fear and that doubt, hold on to God. Pray. This time, reading the book we're reading, I had to be reading it out loud to myself because I was so fearful and I was so doubtful. Even though God had done it before, not once, but twice, I was like, what if? Am I actually the only person in this world? What if the first one and the second one was not painful? What if the first one and the second one was not painful because of, I don't know, whatever?
Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Abigail Richards.
I slept throughout. Imagine somebody being so fearful and so doubtful of God. You are literally in the situation, experiencing the grace of God, and you're still fearful. You're still thinking, oh no, I don't have the grace of God. That was what was happening to me. And this is why fear is literally an attack on your spirit being and your body, your mind, your soul. Because it's showing you the opposite of what God is actually doing. Can you believe I got to the hospital, 3 cm dilated. I wasn't having any pain, but I was still fearful. I was progressing, and I was still fearful. I slept throughout my labor, and I was still fearful. I was still afraid in my mind that something was going to happen. I was going to experience some sort of pain. Something was going to go wrong with me or the baby or something. I was just all over the place. The nurse that was attending to me, the doctors that were checking on me, they were like, oh my God, you know, everything is going well. You are progressing fine. Tell me why they were waking me every 2 hours, every 1 hour, 30 minutes to check my progress. And I was still fearful that something was going to go wrong. I was still like, what if this one is going to be different? I was literally experiencing the fulfillment of God's promises, and I was still afraid. Everything was going according to the will of God, and I still let the enemy gain hold over my mind. It's very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Very dangerous to let the enemy have that kind of hold over you. Even though I was experiencing the love of God, my husband was there with me, supporting me, my family reaching out to me, texting with me. Imagine I was eating rice and chicken. I was taking mods. I was laying down enjoying myself, but I was still afraid. Anytime they would wake me up and say, oh, okay, now you're 6 cm, now you're 8 cm, now you're 10 cm. I'd just be like, oh, okay, Lord Jesus, help me. Oh God, help me. Why was the fear that was implanted in my mind greater than what I was actually experiencing? Please remember that whatever it is that God is doing for you, however great or marvelous the wonders that God is doing for you, if you let fear take a hold of you, you would not be able to see it. You wouldn't even know it. Everybody around you will tell you that, oh my goodness, God is favoring you. You got that job. God has done so much for you. Oh, you got that career, whatever it is you want to do. Oh, you got that healing you were looking for. My sister, my brother, you won't see it. I was reading, in fact, I held on to my phone. I was reading scriptures. I was behaving in a very fearful manner. You understand? You know, prayers and readings that just comes from fear. That was what I was doing. And my husband would just say, Abigail, everything is going on well. Don't be afraid. I'm like, I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. You know, I kept speaking positive things to help myself. I was reading out the prayers. I was reading out the scriptures. I was praying out loud to hear myself. At some point, I got up and I started exercising faith. What I did was, I got up from my bed. I was like, you know what? I've slept enough. Now that I'm going through this, I know that God's promise is actually taking place right now. And I tried to be more aware of what was happening. I was like, you know what? I'm going to dance. I'm going to move around. And I'm going to behave like what is actually happening. I'm going to behave like everything is fine. And everything was actually fine. And when they woke me up for the last time, I was like, let's check you. Let's see how you're progressing. And I was 10 cm. It was time to push. Yes. It got to that point. They put me in position. You know, my water already broke. And they were like, oh, baby's head is here. Abigail, push the baby. I felt like everyone was waiting for me to perform this miracle. Like, I was like, what? They're like, okay, you need to push the baby now. I started feeling the baby ready to come out minutes before they even put me in the position to push. But I was afraid. I was afraid. Now they put me in position and they were like, Abigail, this baby is ready. This baby is in the canal. You need to push your baby out. And I looked at my husband and I said, no, I don't want to push. I looked at my doctor and I was like, I don't want to push. I don't want to push. And the confusion on their faces. They were like, Abigail, you have done this twice now. You know how to push. Push the baby out. And I was like, no. I was afraid. And that fear was so real, was so real to me. I could feel it draining my energy. So the midwife, she moved from where I was standing, went to her table with all the equipment, and it was just, you know, arranging herself, putting on gloves, disinfecting and whatever. And she was like, don't because of fear harm your baby. That was what she said to me. And I was like, wait, everything is going according to plan. Everything is going according to what God has promised me. Why am I holding him back? Why am I trying to cause more problems? My doctor was at the equipment station and I pushed that baby. One push and the baby was out. It was not the devil per se that had actual hold over me. It was myself. I was delaying the birth of my baby because of fear. And thank God nothing happened, but if anything had happened, it would not be one spirit that was the problem, it would have been me. When God has promised something, or God has shown you something, whether in dream, in visions, from scriptures, whatever God has said, God will not lie. And God will keep his own end of the bargain. It depends on you to keep your own part of it. And that's just trusting God. I pushed that baby Baby was fine. Baby, the first thing I did when I pushed the baby out, the doctor came back to me. I was like, oh wow, okay, she picked up baby, and they took baby. Baby was fine. At the end of the day, I was fine. And why was I afraid? Why was I delaying what was meant to happen because of fear? This is my story. This is my betting experience, but it goes beyond. It goes beyond just giving birth. In every phase of life, you're a man, you're a woman. God has told you, this is what I plan for you. This is my desire for you. This is what I want you to achieve. Who are you to say no? Why are you saying no? Why are you experiencing the goodness of God and denying it? Because that's what I was doing. I was literally living the life, living the promise of God that in childbearing there will be no pain, there will be no death, mother and baby will be fine. But I was denying it, and I almost caused harm. I would have if I didn't snap back into reality. You understand? So please do not hold God back. Do not think you have anything to do with what God is doing. What God is doing for you, aside trusting Him and believing Him, and then taking actions to follow through what God has asked you to do. So if God says, go here and do this, and I will do the rest, just do what God has told you to do. If God says, relax, try your best and relax. Don't stress yourself. Don't worry about what next. Is it actually going to be like that? Because the question I've been asking, and I've learned a lot from everything that's happened, is even when there's fear, meanwhile you should rebuke the spirit of fear. You understand? Rebuke it, because it can make you do things you're not supposed to do. Rebuke the spirit of fear. Do not hold on to fear. Do not hold on to doubt. Anything that is making you doubt God, take it away. Push it aside, because it can deter or even destroy what God wants to do for you. And now that's my that's my third birth story, the Hebrew woman story that God has favored me with, and I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that at some point I was even thinking maybe I should experience this pain so that I will know how it used to be. I quickly rebuked that thought, because I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy at all. I thank God doesn't listen to us when we say things that we actually don't mean, or we don't even know the depths of what we're asking.